UKLC is presented by Barclays and Curry's PC World.
Hello and welcome back to the UKLC. We're getting ready to go into our fourth and final game of the day. That's between Munster Rugby Gaming Academy and Nvision. So, Orcs, talk to me about this game. Again, another game with stuff on the line. Munster, while they're locked into playoffs, they're still not locked into first in playoffs. So they could have their seeding upset here. And Nvision desperately looking for the win. With M&M and Demise both getting a win, the two of the teams they were tied up against at the beginning of today have actually pulled ahead of them. So they need to get this win to keep themselves relevant in the playoffs race.
Yeah, super important for them if they want to keep up. If they do end up losing this one, then there's going to be, as you said, three teams clearly a point ahead of them. Makes it difficult to catch up. And also, Nvision have a little bit of a rough head-to-head here if they lose out against Munster. Obviously, actually, in fairness, against Munster, it doesn't really matter. The thing is, we have head-to-head tied between Nvision, M&M, London, and Demise. They're all 1-1 with each other. So, forget what I said. Head-to-head's fine, but they need to keep up in points.
Yeah, that's the key thing, right?
It's a fact they don't have an advantage in head-to-head. Also means that if you do fall behind in points, you're going to struggle. Now, the game tomorrow is against Bulldog, which is an easy matchup, but it isn't a matchup which means they can influence. They're not playing against one of the teams they're tying up with, which means that if they do win that game, all the other teams they're trying to tie with could also win, and they're just out. So, super important for Nvision here. Munster less so, but they want to try and keep a distance above London, because right now, if they win this game, then they can't be caught. They are locked into first if Munster win this one. If they lose it, there's still a potential they can be caught up on. So it would be massive for them as a team. And it's just a matter of trying to get this win out over Nvision. It's still impactful for both sides. And I think the pressure's on, especially as I would say last week was a little bit not awful for Munster. Munster had a pretty solid week. In fact, they've had a pretty solid week considerably for a while. They're on a significant win streak. But I think Nvision being as strong as they were last week is a little bit worrying, I would say. Despite Munster's good form, it's a bit concerning when Nvision have just massively stepped up, and that you could see them challenge here. I was just having a look because I've got the player lobby up on my screen, and Munster Rugby all have roses as their icon, and they just put a message up to the observer so we can read it. They're saying their roses are virtual flowers for Orcs on his birthday. So Munster are sending you a birthday sweet.
gift.
Wow,
you actually got a bunch of roses from Munster.
That's so okay. Well, I voted for Munster for a reason, right? They
give you flowers.
Yeah.
I voted for Nvision. I kind of wanted to shake it up, and it's an uphill battle. I'm very much aware that Munster are, the top team. They have shown us some serious individual talent, but also as a group, they played together incredibly well. Blue Spirits and Jeppe, who have honestly they've been probably the best bot lane duo in the league. Blue Spirits has been incredible. Same with Jeppe. You got No Name in the jungle, who's been playing incredibly well. DBL was highlighted by Rifty along with Aragon as being the two top laners other than him that he really has his eyes on. And Diva's been around for a little while now. Diva's been a consistently strong mid laner. So there's just so much stacked talent on the side of Munster. While Nvision, Evan has looked really, really good. I'll give him that. Bibi Muffin, I think he's been a bit too coin flip. That's been my issue for the side of Nvision. But I think we'll have to see.
I think Alex just looks really good. Some games he looks rough, and some games he looks like one of the best junglers in the league. So for me, my highlighted matchup is top jungle. That's cheating by doing 2, but I don't care. Sue me, it's my birthday. Alex versus No Name is super hype because Alex has shown an ability to run away with jungle matchups, but No Name as well, particularly on things like the Nidalee. And then top lane, Evan and DBL, both of them not completely consistent, but they've had some really pop-up performances. So I just want to see these two go at each other. I expect BB Muffin against Diva will be a bit more farm-oriented. Bot lane could also be super hype, though, although we have sometimes seen Spark and Nash just play like a wave clear mage like Ziggs and then a roaming support like Bard. So could see a situation where the bot lane for Nvision play non-interactive. But top jungle, I am so ready just to have essentially pro view on those two lanes this game.
It's going to be a really, really fun matchup. Now, guys, we are going to cut to a quick break, but when we are back, we're back with Champ Select and our fourth and final game of the day. We'll see you in a second. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to the UKLC as we're getting ready to go into our final game of the day. Munster Rugby Gaming Academy versus Nvision. Munster on the blue, Nvision on the red. See what gets banned away.
So again, looking towards the jungle matchup to be a big priority. Often teams ban away comfort against Nvision, which, that accentuates my point perfectly when they ban away the Zigs from Sparks specifically. But it looks like Nvision answering in sort with the Lee Sin denied from No Name, which is quite a bit of his pocket pick. And again, comfort. Olaf for Alex, huge pick for him. We could end up seeing Oriana away from BB Muffin on this next ban, honestly.
I was genuinely about to say I'd like to see the Oriana ban to deny BB Muffin. I think it's been probably his best performing mid. It's obviously got safety, scaling options, and means he doesn't kind of just get stomped in lane. Because if BB Muffin falls behind in lane, it feels like he's just behind for the whole game at that point. He doesn't seem to have the ability to come back. So I would like to see that actually get banned away here. The Twisted Fate taken away from D.Va. They want to shut down any roaming potential, but for Alex, he is actually going to have the Kha'Zix banned away from him.
And then Syndra banned away finally. So a very different draft to what we typically see. A lot of power picks left open in this situation, which I think is a decent decision from Nvision. If the enemy team's banning comfort and you ban a ton of power picks, it means Munster will still get one, but you won't get as much. Here, Munster, they can take Volibear, they can take Karthus, they can take Set, they can take Ashe, they can take Karma. But the ultimate thing is they can only take one of those. So they're opting for the Volibear. All those picks I just listed are now available, bar the Volibear for Nvision. So they are going to be able to get a really strong pickup here. Set a really strong one for Evan or Alex in this situation. And you can easily match that up with the Karma as well.
I really want to see the Ashe get picked up here for Nvision. I think Blue Spirits has been incredibly high performing on that champion. It's just so good. The Zoe blind pick for BB Muffin. This is a pick I really didn't want to say on him. I just don't. He hasn't had the best performances on the Zoe.
He had a sick game last week.
Yeah, he did. No, sorry. I take that back. That was someone else.
I like the pick. I don't like it being here. I think you could have taken that third pick, and you could have then banned away counters, and then you could have secured 2 power picks here. Set, I think that's fine. I think that's good. But you're now leaving like Ashe Karma for the enemy team. But instead of Ashe Karma, they are going towards that Callista. And that TF ban you had earlier helped them out. Thresh is picked up in tandem with that. So pretty strong bot lane. And you can only pick part of your bot lane in this situation for Nvision. You can't take both. So the question is going to be, it's going to be the Ezreal. So heavy poke for the side of Nvision already. A long-range siege composition, which in all honesty, does cause issues for Callista. So now for Nvision, I would personally like to see them ban away either issues they're going to have a mid lane or hard engage. I could see things like the... LeBlanc is a mid lane that's going to cause issues potentially for the Zoe. But I think specifically, I'm just concerned about if they do find an engage, it can be problematic. If you can keep them at bay, you are fine. I think disengage should be the trick for Nvision coming out here.
For the side of Munster, I think the Karma's probably a really good ban here as well. You don't want to have to really deal with the shove from the Karma Ezreal and how much poke that's got. Galio is going to be the final ban. Obviously, something that can deal with a Zoe. There goes the Karma from Munster. I think expect to see the support get picked up here for the side of Nvision. Galio things like the Nautilus open.
Yeah, I think Galio as well, just because it can cause such a headache for bot lane. Honestly, Rakan works pretty well. Good disengage, good pick for Nash. He really likes that champion. And also creates a lot of space. Now, you have options here in whether you want to put the Set in the jungle or top lane. I think you could do either. I think Trundle would be a good jungler for Alex. Good skirmishing power early, good disengage with the pillar. In terms of top lane, it depends entirely on what is picked up in return.
We saw this in the NLC, but I don't think D.Va plays it. That definitely feels more like a D.Va pick. So they are going to pick up the
Azir.
Azir, thank you. Wow, what the
hell?
So
essentially, this means in the extended long duration fights, I mean, it was already the case, but now without a doubt, Munster will crush them. So you can't take long fights here for Nvision, but that was true anyway. Nvision wants snappy fights. They want poke. They want picks. They want burst. They don't want to get caught out in a slugfest with Munster, or they will have a difficult time. It also means D.Va can contest priority against BB Muffin. And the Shen, actually, we like this one. It's not buffed on this patch on 10.14. It's 10.15. It gets the buffs. But ultimately, the whole point of this is you want something to play through bot. Bot lane is a lane you're putting your resources into. Mid lane is that alternative win condition. And obviously, the Shen is a pretty good option here. Now, you can go and put the Trundle jungle, but when they picked a Shen, I think you can pick something that can answer that specifically. Mordekaiser is a pretty good matchup into that. And obviously you can actually alternatively you can go
Wow.
that Jax as well. So the disadvantage of the Jax is obviously auto attack based can be cancelled by Shen, but Shen is also auto attack based, so that gets cancelled by Jax. And ultimately the Jax will outscale into the side lane, so it means you have an alternative win condition. It doesn't massively help your bot lane out because they're gonna have trouble against the Shen ults, but you can at least stop him from going down if he's within range. But
So
I think
I just wanted to ask, even though it didn't get picked up, I was genuinely curious with the Mordekaiser. If the Shen's TPing out with the ulti and you pull him into the death realm, does that just cancel it at that point, or can he still ping out?
No, you can't ping out.
So okay, cool. What happens if you death realm him first and then he tries to ult out, or does that not work?
He can't ult.
Okay.
Because you have to click on someone to ult out, and he can't click on anyone.
True. Yeah.
It's a bit like Nocturne. It's like when Nocturne ults you, you can't ult anyone on your team because you can't see them. You can't click on them. Even if if you target the portrait, you can't even do that when Nocturne ults up. So Nocturne's actually really good into Shen. So maybe if there's a different team comp from Nvision, we could have seen a Nocturne jungle set top to work in that way. But that's talking in little
a bit of a null factor, really.
Yeah, it's just a nice little bit of trivia for
education. Yeah, educational content. But again, the Jax is going to be quite a fun matchup for them. If Evan does get ahead and starts to take over the side lanes, that could be problematic for DBL, but DBL's been pretty consistent throughout the entire season.
Yeah, there's been a couple of spots where I had question marks, but for the most part, he's been really solid and willing to push advantages. But here, I'm looking at Munster, and I'm saying you're playing through bot lane. You're playing to win bot lane. You're playing to get a big lead, and Azir will carry you through the rest of the game. For Nvision, you're playing to get to a mid-game spike where you just don't interact with the enemy team. You just poke them until they want to cry, is the game plan with your composition. And if a fight starts, you have great ability to peel backwards and cause issues for them. So essentially, a little bit of difference in win conditions here. And I think Nvision's potentially harder to pull off, but they do also have that split pusher that they can rely on if things do get problematic. And obviously, the big answer to split pushes is typically either force objectives, in which case you'll force an objective against a Zoe Ezreal. Like if it's a Baron, you're going to get poked to pieces. Or alternatively, you dive. And if you dive against this team comp, there's, a Rakan and a set to cause issues.
It's actually a fairly nicely drafted comp by Nvision, but one of the weaknesses of these poke comps, something we always highlight, is if you fall behind on a poke comp, it feels nigh impossible to do anything significant unless you find a big catch out at like the Baron or something like that. But for now, we're going to load onto the Rift for our fourth and final game of the day. Munster Rugby Gaming Academy taking on Nvision. Munster currently at the top of the standings, 9-3, while Nvision were in that big cluster at the beginning of the day with the 4 teams all tied up. Nvision need to find this win to stay relevant versus Demise and M&M.
That's the big thing. Again, Munster don't need this win, but if they are still in playoffs no matter what. But if they get it, they are locked into first place, which would be huge for the lineup. A lot of rookies on this team. Obviously, we have a bit more experience than likes of Diva. But it's just been a great journey for Munster in general, who have really stepped up for the split. We'll see if that is enough to match up against Nvision, who had a great last week.
All right, well, everybody takes the lane. They do find a little bit of something onto Nash, but he's a Rakan. He's slippery. Evan starts out early, gets the helicopter off onto DBL to get a nice early trade, but it's early games. He's not really looking to take over the lane quite yet. Question for me is, where are we going to see jungle attention? Where is the first gank going to go? Both of the junglers started out on the top side of the map, so they could just go in towards this bot side, but DBL is already having some issues versus Evan. Counter-Strike being very effective, and now Evan got that level lead as well.
Yeah, I mean, I think the priority needs to be bot lane for Munster. I mean, sure, you want to give a helping hand out to your Shen, but he's a Shen. And so essentially, it's not really that important as long as he presses his ultimate. Actually, gets Evan to take 2 tower hits there. That
was a lovely talk.
Okay, you just all that bad trading you had before, you just countered it. Good job.
He's going to have to burn lots of his corrupting stacks and that cookie he had to remain relevant. The wave's going to get shoved in. This does mean that Evan can go for a cheetah recall. There's already it's what you want on the Callista, to start getting these leads as early as possible. Alex actually getting chunked out by No Name means there is very little pressure from Nvision onto the bot side of Blue Spirits and Jeppe. With the demolish on Jeppe, they actually will be able to get some early plates and get some early gold onto this Callista. He wants to be getting that Blade of the Ruin King as quick as possible.
Yeah, absolutely. And this is one of my somewhat small concerns for this Nvision composition, is that you are going to be having a bit of... Oh, that's unlucky. You pay in so much mana to not actually get that. But yeah, one of my concerns is the fact that you are lacking a bit of pressure compared to Munster in the early levels.
Bibi. Bibi.
Yeah, you got
Stunned, lockdown. That was just greedy positioning by Bibi Muffin.
I think the issue is that Alex was right behind BB Muffin, and so BB just assumed that he'd be safe in that situation.
Alex doesn't even try to actually pull this gank off. That was potentially a nice kill, but decides not to go for it. Steps back, and DBL's able to get away for free. Cheetah recall forever means he does have that Doran's Blade, but the DBL did pick up a Ruby Crystal. It's just going to teleport back into lane, and Evan has the counter-strike to work with, but No Name's looking to come in. They find the taunt. Evan's going to have to flash, although he just go for a cheeky ward hop to safety. No Name playing a really, really good jungle game early.
Yeah, and the important thing is here is he's trying to crash the wave in so that it can't be frozen, because DBL was not having a fun time in that scenario. So nice escorting there from No Name. And honestly, No Name's had a really good early game here, you know. Showed his face bot lane, got the Skull Crab. Bot lane had priority, so he was safe to do so. Goes mid lane, gets a nice gank on a BB Muffin when BB Muffin didn't expect it because of Alex's positioning. And then helps crash the wave top. So, solid start.
Bot lane's been a little quiet. There's been obviously the shove coming in from Munster. So BB has to be careful once again. Does have the ward this time, so No Name places on the control. So they know at least where No Name is for now. Does unlock Evan to play a little bit more aggressively, but now Nvision have to play with the knowledge for Munster on the bot side. The shift comes in and they get the shield off and the knock-up. Redemption's going to fly down as well, and that's just an easy kill. Turnaround here. Exhaust gets used, and Alex trying to close in time. BB Muffin's also coming in on the flank, and No Name's there. Teleports are getting used. This is the fight. Already get a bubble off. Evan comes in with a counter-strike, gets himself hooked underneath the tower, and it is just disastrous for Nvision.
Yeah, just a great engage from Jeppe, and we talked a bit about this bot lane, about Blue Spirits and Jeppe really handing it to other teams, and they find a great punish in that situation. TP's come in from Evan, and it's just not enough. It doesn't do anything, it doesn't change things. Spark also flying in to get back in lane, but it's still 2 kills for Blue Spirits there.
Coming off the back of Jeppe landing some really, really good hooks. And now Spark has to be careful. He's flashless. And No Name's still about. Knowing he's out of vision. May just look to start up the dragon for himself. Does bot lane have the pressure to work with? And that is going to be the case. Alex just has been very underwhelming so far in the jungle. We sung his praises earlier. But No Name's just had his number all game.
Yeah, been a really good start. And again, this bot lane for Munster, I feel like they're the best bot lane in the league based on how they've been playing so far. And Spark and Nash have tended to play these less interactive bot lanes, like I was talking about before. These ones that have a safe bot laner, you know, something like the Ziggs that can wave clear, or in this case, the Ezreal. And then Nash will play something that can roam, or in this case, is equally safe. And, you know, that works to an extent, but it means you don't have very much to give in return when you are challenged. And Munster found a way to challenge and were able to answer out. And then even the return fire from Nvision just went badly. Evan overextending to try and get the stun was pretty costly. And Alex should be able to get this blue, but he's now been collapsed on.
Yeah, doesn't have level 5. Does have the flash. Goes over the hook, but Blue Spirits takes the blast cone to follow up. And nobody's about to defend Alex here. He's now burnt that flash. Jeppe, one good hook. Isn't going to land the flay. So Alex gets out, but that's the flash now burnt on the set. And it may just be the pressure that they need to crack open this Rift Herald.
Yeah, I mean, already it's putting Alex in a precarious position. If he does overcommit, he's not going to flash to get out. And D.Va has priority and is moving up. Spark and Nash feeling a little bit uncomfortable here. Even with that control ward in the river. Look how scared they are of Jeppe in this situation. Looks like they are moving down now. The control ward will get cleared out.
Yeah, this time Alex does have the ultimate available to him. Nash not got quickness yet, so I don't know if Nvision really can challenge without the quickness on Nash. He's going to jump away with the grand entrance. I think
the ultimate thing
secure for Munster.
I think the ultimate thing that's going to put it heavily in Munster's favor is that neither top laner has TP. But Shen has his ultimate, so you're going to have that numbers advantage. He has priority in the lane to move away from Evan. There's no way you contest this one, so it's a free objective for Munster. And we said that Nvision were looking towards that mid-game to spike hard and look to play around their poke. If you end up getting to the mid-game with a massive deficit, that opportunity never gets realized for you as a team.
Lane's going to get shoved in. They've got the Rift Herald onto No Name. See if he wants to throw it down the top lane to get some plate gold. It looks like he is doing that. Alex waiting in the fog of war. They've spotted No Name out. Nash still not got the ultimate available. Spark jumps away, gets instantly caught out. The Hex Flash is coming in, but Spark's already dead. Alex, once again, way too slow to the play. Slams him back, but he gets just reeled in by the yo-yo. Teleport's getting used as well. Jeffe's going to get pinged out, and everybody is here. BB Muffin misses out on the paddle star. Alex is trying his best to keep alive as a massive shutdown's picked up. BB Muffin's making his way forward as the quickness is connected. All of a sudden, the Nvision just turned it around. They have the exhaust to work with. BB's still alive. He's onto Diva. Diva's going to die to the minions. No, he's able to survive. It's so close. Oh my lord, Nvision, that went from bad to good.
Oh no, he doesn't. He's level 5. What am I talking about? Oh, I got so hyped there. That was such a tight fight between both teams under the tower. He's good.
He's alright. I got a little hype.
I saw the Ezreal ultimate without like, you know, like the like clock thing with the cooldown, and I was like, he has it, and then I was like, no way, he's level 5.
I completely retract all of the criticism I've had of Alex. Now, I keep saying he's too slow to these ganks, which arguably he is. That haymaker to get a double kill was just gorgeous.
I mean, it was a good setup for Munster, but ultimately it's a risky dive when you have the likes of the Rakan with a ton of CC. You have Alex coming in with his ability just to make dives so difficult.
Yeah, exactly.
And they're able to turn it around. Yes, it's still Munster ahead in gold, ahead in kills, but they didn't get the tower, and Nvision were able to answer back and get some shutdowns.
And this is exactly what you highlighted as well. Evan, without teleport, wasn't able to join into the play, but he got himself 4 plates bot side. He is farming up a storm. He's getting into that point where he could just be a side lane nuisance. May have to hold this tower here. He's looking for a recall. Dodges out. Alex actually comes over with the Hex Flash. Chilling Smite lands onto Jeppe. They miss the face breaker. Nash is coming through. No Name is there. Nash has to be a little careful. He's going to clear out the pink.
Thresh is the bane of playmakers. You ever trying to make a play, and Thresh is just so frustrating. It's like, not, you know, in some ways, it's like Tom Kench. He just has a lot of no buttons, and obviously the Thresh has to be a bit more, let's say, stylish with how he stops your plays, but he definitely found a way there. Now he's engaging.
Yeah, they're looking to go into Alex, goes in for the ultimate. BB Muffin misses out. Big haymaker, but it's not going to be big enough. Blue Spirits picks up his 4th kill. Meanwhile, DBL will take first turret in the top lane.
And yeah, it's just, again, Jeppe finding these windows with the Thresh. And often we see the Threshes, obviously they have that great peel potential. You put them with something like an Ashe, you can keep them safe. Jeppe is just finding these opportunities that it feels like no one else in the league is able to quite do on his level. And he fishes for these hooks, and he he consistently finds these windows for his team to get an advantage. And they kill Alex, means they get that dragon. And I want 2. They've still got that 3,000 gold lead, and they're looking really comfortable now. BB Muffin fishing. Won't catch anything.
Long range bubble, not going to quite make its mark. I do still worry that Evan is getting a lot of gold built up. Got that Blade of the Ruined King now.
Wow, that's a great segue into looking at individual gold.
Beautiful. Let's talk about the individual gold of the players. Pretty even.
So, yeah, I mean, top lane's even, but bear in mind that DBL got that final tower plate in 610 gold, so it suggests how sort of elevated the gold numbers are for these top laners.
Actually, you know what? That's big, because that denies Diva from the blue buff.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. If you're trying to steal it, it's still fine in that regard. But jungle, mid, a little bit ahead. But 80 carry, that is a substantial lead. That is basically a good 70% of Munster's entire gold lead, purely on Blue Spirits.
That's what they needed. If Kalista falls behind, Kalista is useless. So getting this gold lead onto Blue Spirits is really, really big for them.
And it delays the spike. We talked about Nvision's mid-game spikes, so they're going to be pretty critical. The Triforce Mana Immune for Ezreal, a massive one you want to play around. It delays it to a point where maybe they're not able to capitalize on it. I mean, look at Spark's items. What is that?
He's down a level onto Blue Spirits. He's got the components of the Mana Immune if it hasn't actually got it. And here comes a hook. Gonna miss out onto Alex this time. But it's just going to afford them some free time onto the turrets. BB Muffin's getting zoned away. DBL gets the taunt off. And BB Muffin just really over-greedy, overextended. Gets the speed off for the moment as No Name takes a little bit from the True Shot Barrage. But BB Muffin's positioning has been questionable.
I mean, I don't know why BB was there when mid lane was getting pushed. Someone needed to respond. And he was just like, yeah, let's just go in the river. Go for walkies. And now Ezreal was defending bot, and Ezreal's lost the tower.
He was looking for the pick onto D.Va, but just why? Turret mid lane will be able to hold, and DBL actually used teleport to get topside to make sure that Evan doesn't get a bunch of plates in the tower for himself. Plates have now fallen off. But D.Va's just in the side lane dealing with Spark. Spark's trying to solo farm to keep relevant and experience and gold. Wasn't being shoved in. Hook does land onto Zoe, but BB Muffin gets the bubble off. Gets pulled in with the lantern. The quickness gets used. They get themselves a two-man knock-up. In comes the Stormbringer, though. BB Muffin throws out the Hextech Hosepipe. Alex dodges out on the hook. BB Muffin unable to follow up for more. Spark teleports into the mid lane, and somehow Nvision were able to survive that play, but health bars are a little bit too low, and they may just lose their mid lane turret for it. They're at least going to lose the Rift Herald. They
got the flash from Blue Spirits, which is something, but again, that wasn't ideal. It was essentially 2v4 for most of it. And Munster just going to be able to take this Herald. Not much that Nvision can do, and this is the concern with a composition like this, is that you just don't have as much agency as Munster do in the early levels. So there is a very real chance that they just run away with the game. And Nvision won't get to the point where their spikes are relevant if this happens. And now, looking at a 5,000 gold lead, it's really rough to be in the spot right now.
Very rough. And Munster, a team who have shown us that they can deliver on these leads as well. As Evan's looking for a 1v1 versus DBL, goes in for the flash. The rest of the team are backing him up here. DBL just trying to run to the wind, but going to get knocked up. Going to get CC'd. And Evan secures himself a kill. There's not really an answer to be made from the rest of Munster, so Nvision should be able to answer out with a turret top lane.
Yeah, it's a nice play. It's your alternative win condition. If the mid-game spike fails, you have the split push threat. But unfortunately, you're now sacrificing a lot of pressure mid. There's a Herald being thrown down. That is mid tower gone. And also that dragon spawning in 45. You're going to have to get back quick if you want to defend that one.
Oh, you're sacrificing tower here. Jefe even dodges out in the bubble. They may even get a second charge off here. Well, the wave should crash in time, clear it out. So, yep, no second charge, but dragon spawning up. This will be the third. And one away from Ocean Soul if Munster can secure it.
I mean, if we look at Nvision's vision, though,
hairy spot.
If you look at Nvision's vision of the area, it's just, there isn't any.
Yeah, there is nothing to work with.
You know what?
They didn't even get that tower top lane.
If we're talking N vision, then N is 0. It's a little math joke for you guys.
Or you could just say it's short for no, but here comes the shuffle, here comes the hook. Actually forces D.Va to flash. As Evan jumps in, gets himself the stun off onto No Name, and No Name with a thundering charge. Actually gonna find his opening, and Nvision actually gonna get their open on here. They do have the Shen ult onto No Name. Drowsy connects, but into the hook onto Nash already. Nash goes golden. He is able to jump away. They do find himself a kill onto Jepe, and Alex getting zoned away by D.Va. And Vision actually trying to turn this here. DBL onto Evan, though, and Evan's just so low. Gets himself the counter-strike. Evan survives. BB Muffin out of mana, though. Has that Blade the Ruined King to work with? As Spark gets himself the kill. BB Muffin trying to chase. Uses the Blade the Ruined King proc he had. D.Va slides in forward into the counter-strike. They find himself the shutdown. Spark has the mana to work without the red buff. No Name's low HP. No Name's going to get the kill. But Spark finds the shutdown. And Nvision get all the kills they need. Sure, they lose out on the dragon, but that was big for them.
Yeah, I mean, they got all 5 kills. Yes, everyone died apart from Ezreal, but they got shutdowns. They got a ton of gold in their pockets, and that gold lead that was 5,000 is closed quite a bit. But as you said, Dragons still went to Munster, so that Ocean Soul is looking very scary. Oh, what a fight, though. Just some great play on the edge of the fight to dodge away from the CC from Jeppe. You saw Evan hunting down Blue Spirits there and doing a mountainous amount of work on this Jax. My highlight had to be BB Muffin walking up to the dragon and just no mana auto-attacking it to try and steal it. And it nearly worked because No Name had no smite.
He actually used the more Sparkles auto-attack because he propped the blade in the ruin kick on No Name. So he had as much damage on that auto as possible.
Yeah.
Almost a hero play.
It was just a bit comedic. The fact that both were just trying to rush it like, okay, we have no smite. We don't have much base damage. Let's just try this. But yeah. Hectic, definitely. And now you're seeing a point where 2 item spikes for Blue Spirits. D.Va's got that, you know, in quotation marks, 2 item spike, where he has 2 half items and a full one. Really nice for the Azir. But we do have Spark with the Mirror Mana and the Gauntlet. He just needs to stack it up to be at that big point.
Yeah, he's kind of going in for the tanky as real build, realizing these fights are fairly extended and extra survivability could be big. Evan will pick up the turret for Nvision. Actually makes you saw most of the wave dies out. There is a shove from D.Va on the other side of the map, but there is a glimmer of hope for Nvision in what was looking like a very, very dangerous situation. X-Flash is going to get used by Alex. Actually, just spot out No Name. Although D.Va could be on the receiving end of a little bit of attention here. Has put up the Legacy of Shurima to make sure that he's okay. And Jeppe, with these godlike hooks, is going to take a lot of damage from Jeppe. They actually put him to sleep as well. As BB going to get called onto by D.Va. They use the exhaust. They look to turn it around. Facebreaker lands onto 2. Into the big slam. They just knock him straight back out. Facebreaker's huge. Evans on the flank. The bubble's there. Evans looking to mop up the fight. Gets himself No Name. Alex is going to go down, but it doesn't mean too much as Blue Spirits is trying to kite away. Nash comes in.
Goodbye.
Beautiful charm. Double kill for Evan. Baby Muffin's still alive as the shutdown goes over to Spark. DBL's the only one left standing. Nvision 2 fights in a row, turn the game back around, and they're on to Baron.
And this is a great Baron for them. Rakan is so good at Barons because you can Q it to get a heal off and just AoE heal everyone. So great sustain. They got good sustain damage from Spark and Evan. They can just take this. Spawns are coming in. It's going to be a little bit late. I think they just have this one.
A little bit slow, but...
Unless if DBL seals this.
DBL is going to have to make a miracle steal happen. Gets knocked up. Get CC'd. They all get knocked up. The health bar's low. DBL, can you do it? No, he can't. Nvision
and now they can all get out the pit. They can recall, but they can't just all dash out. And oh, what a huge play from Nvision there. I mean, Munster engaged onto Alex, and they've learned a lesson there. Don't engage onto the set. It's a mistake. He managed to put so much CC down in return. Got a huge haymaker again. We saw that double kill early in the top lane tower. This was even bigger. So much AoE damage to 4 members of the team, and it allowed the cleanup. Evan TP'd in with a beautiful flank, and he is being just a joy to see on this Jax. Typically, we think of Jax as that team fighting menace, but as a side lane menace, but every team fight, he was just hunting Blue Spirits down and decimating him. But Nvision really, we said they ramped up last week, and there was a bit of uncertainty, you know, is this going to be a consistent thing? They've had good games before, but they are proving here. They are here to play, and if they make playoffs, they are looking scary for the other teams.
This is a scary turnaround. Now, the game's not done. Ocean Drake is coming up in 45 seconds. And that has to be a concern. That has to be a real concern. There's no anti-healing onto Nvision, so if this is the Ocean picked up, it could be rough.
I mean, even if
although
you have anti-healing, it's...
Oh. A lot of damage onto DBL. It's going to chunk him out momentarily. Is D.Va also going to take a bit of damage from BB Muffin?
There's the poke.
That's that poke you were talking about. Yeah.
Hey, yeah.
Hey, baby. 2 years and our synergy's finally there.
Eventually. Ooh. You got to remember as well that... Okay, I'm going to hold up thought. Okay, I'll finish it. As well as the buffing the minions, you also get an extra AD and AP from the Baron. So a bit of extra cover. He's coming in!
He's gone in, throws out the showstopper, massive quickness. Everybody gets popped back by the shuffle. The post coming in, Jeppe lands the hook. Stormbreaker gets used, Sparks low HP.
Evan.
He's going to get zoned out of fight, but he's able to jump over. No Name flashes in to get the kill. BB Buff is able to mop up though. It's a double kill for Evan. No Name has got the tankiness to work with, and BB Muffin has a smite. It's double smite onto Nvision. I don't think that No Name can do this. I don't think he has the ability to steal. Evan's hunting him down. Nash as well. Nvision just pull a trigger like that and find another team fight win.
Evan is a bloody monster this game on the jacks. Every single time he just beelines straight for the backline. Managed to get 2 kills and then the stun onto Blue Spirits and just popped him with a beautiful flash. And now look at him.
Alex gets the face break off. I think
Goodbye.
DBL's dead. Smack to the face. DBL goes down.
That's a tank. He's just destroying them, man. I said jungle top lane would be hype. And I mean, Alex has had some great team fights, but Evan is just on fire this game.
This is just gorgeous to see. Every game today has hardcore delivered, win or lose. It doesn't matter who you're backing in any of these games. All 4 games have been edge of your seat, just pure excitement. I love it. I absolutely love it.
And I think it just shows how close the standings are, how much this means to every team, because realistically, both of these teams, well, actually, Munster secured for playoffs, but this Nvision, if they lose this game, it's still close in goal. They're only 1,000 apart. We could see this team not even going to playoffs. They have to give it their all, and they absolutely are. And see, I mean, look at that top lane gold on Evan.
And remember as well, a loss here denies Munster from securing first.
Yep.
That means they are still potentially in a spot where they could be lower in the standings. Sure, they get playoffs, but the seeding then goes against them in a way. Makes their life a little bit harder. As that's actually just going to be Blue Spirits forced to use the ultimate. Alex on the flank.
Nice flank angle from Alex again. Use the Hex Flash to get over. But yeah, as you said, if you're a London fan watching this, you want Nvision to win. If Nvision win, then London can catch Munster and get that first place spot. But if Munster take this game, then it is all done. 3 minutes on that next Ocean Dragon. Soul again for Munster. Just under 2 minutes on that Baron. Gold lead in favor of Nvision, but not by much.
Now, Blue Spirits kind of slowly starting to fall off compared to Spark. Spark's got the fully stacked Mirror Mana building towards that Death Stance. Neither is getting a good job of shoving here on to Evan in the top lane. Evan just doing his best to hold the lane, but it's so hard with the range advantage from the Azir and the wave clear he has. It's not like it's a tier mat on this.
Yeah, I think as well, the resets coming in from Vision, he knows that likely someone was hanging around there and it is no name, so doesn't want to jump in, get shuffled back, and then suddenly there's a bear trying to eat you.
But
now that the resets come in, yeah, now they can get the collapse.
But it's not really going to be too much of a collapse breaking down. DBL's got a big wave in the top side. Alex maybe looking for a little something onto Blue Spirits. Remember, they've already used the hook as Jeppe can't get pulled back this time. The true shot comes in. Blue Spirits is trying to put the damage out as they get a good phase breaker off into the ulti. Blue Spirits is down. Spark Tide is up. Evan pops the quickness, gets played back, but Evan's jumped in. Looking for the stun, gets shuffled back, but double kill. Already picked up the Spark. He is just mincing for everyone. And Vision once again get a team fight victory.
Some clutch points there from Spark. It's a nice Mystic shot to finish off Diva, and then jumps in at the end as well.
That was beautiful by Alex. Alex is flanking. I criticized him massively at the beginning of this game, and he has said, screw you, Hit Brain. I'm going to play this game so clean from there on
And you know what? I agree with him. Screw you, Hit Brain.
Oh, boy. Honestly, his flanks have been great. He got a lot of damage off and then just altered Blue Spirits back into the team, so Blue Spirits had nowhere to go. Yeah, this should just be a second Baron over to Munster.
And then they can reset. They have the extra golden XP. They can spend. They can go towards the Dragon. We're already seeing XP leads between 80 carries. After this, Spark now level 14 to level 12 of Blue Spirits. Evan 3 levels up on DBL. Alex up a level. And now they're looking at just shy of a 5k gold lead in favor of Nvision. There was a point in this game where Munster were 5,000 ahead. And now they're going to come in with the buys. We've got 16 stack Medjais for people muffing the voice stuff as well. Death Stance for Spark. Death Stance for Evan. That's a pretty big one too.
Oh no. Hook lands onto Alex, not the person you want to hook. BB's coming in forward. Looks to throw the bubble out. Actually does connect it on to the Azir, who gets knocked up. Is able to shuffle back. The true shot's a little bit wide, but BB Muffin flashes forward, unable to find himself the kill. Evan jumps in onto Blue Spirits, though. Gets himself the counter strike off. Not onto the tank, though, as everyone else is looking to take him down. Down goes Jeppe as he gets slammed into the ground. Suplex is there, and a double kill for Alex. Bibi Muffin gets the sweep off onto the volley bear, and No Name half health already. This will be another Ocean Drake picked up for Nvision.
Denying the soul once more with a beautiful team fight coming in there, and Nvision are just all go.
He has ult, he has ult, he has ult, he has ult. Can he steal it? I don't know if he can. It's secured, and he's taken down. Oh my lord, this game is edge of your seat excitement. DBL's going to get some damage onto his top lane turret, but he has to base. He has to leave.
That was nearly such a huge hero play from No Name. Just the confidence to go for that one. If you'd gotten the soul there, oh my lord. But fortunately unable to do so.
I'm on such a high from this game. The last game was great, but this is just something else. Diva getting a bit of revenge for the last few team fights. He steals away a blue buff. That'll show him.
Yep. You tell him. Vision with the bar. I'm feeling confident to push up in this situation.
Jeppy on the flank, but I don't think a flanking fresh is going to do too much.
I mean, they can just play for time. Evan's going to be smashing away these towers super fast top lane.
Hook comes in, does land onto BB, pops the ghost, the flay comes back, the quickness to follow up as well. You get a lot of damage off for the moment. Jeppe gets chunked. Blue Spirit's also low. Evan jumps in, but then just gets popped back by Diva. Jeppe ignited, and he will fall to BB Muffin. Nvision find their pick onto the support. All started with a hook from Jeppe.
It's just so hard to engage on this team. There's so much sort of CC to get you locked up in from Alex and Nash, and Spark and BB Muffin are just hurling out damage at this point.
They're so hard to catch as well. The Zoe, all the movement speed you get from the spell thief passive, all the shifts and just the raw tanky stacks for Nvision has. Oh, sorry, Spark has to speak of. It's so hard to catch them. They're taking out a mid lane inhibitor. Evans escorted this wave in topside, and this should just be at least the tier 2 going down. Vision just going to go to base, spend the gold, and beat him up in 22 stats on that Medjai's.
Pretty big, pretty good. Now just picked up a Banshees, just bought it. Yeah, why not? Even more safety when already it was a difficulty finding BB Muffin and killing them. Once again, Evan 4 levels up on DBL, Alex 2 levels up on No Name, and Spark 2 levels up on Blue Spirits. Only really Diva's been able to keep up, who has a pretty significant amount of CS, as does Blue Spirits, but it's just not proven to be enough. The sustained damage doesn't matter here because Nvision are forcing these fights fast and hard, and you just don't have any breathing room. You don't have an opportunity to sit back, lay down your soldiers, and do sustained damage. Feels like Munster have constantly been challenged, constantly on the back foot in these team fights now. Nvision getting some vision around this bot side of the map. They want Evan to be able to push in and contest this tier 2 tower here. The last one standing outside the base of Munster.
DBL in a dangerous position. Evan's pushing the wave up. They don't have Baron anymore, but they do have the members with them.
Watching the minimap though, you can see Diva is split pushing in the top lane.
Teleport available to Spark. He's the only person that actually can get there to defend, but I think Nvision can just brute force their way in here. Hook does land onto BB, is followed up by a Drowsy. They are going to block out for the moment. That's going to be the turret going down. They are base racing right now. Diva's got a wave to work with. Looks like they are just going to back off. They're going to try and stop the bases,
just need to stop the resets.
Can Diva do this? Jeppe's going to get chunked, pulled in by the yo-yo. Teleport's coming in. Okay, Spark should be able to defend this. Turret number 1's gone down at the Nexus. Diva doing his best to try and deal with it. Spark's trying to cut through him, throws down the ulti to survive. The True Shot barrage comes down. We need to keep our eyes on this. The TBL's actually joined in. They might have just saved the day. Can they do it? I think they might have just done it. The Nexus is down. BB Buff is coming in. They are going to get themselves an assassination off as DBL is able to run away. The wave's too big. Oh my lord. The back door, the dream, the hero play was almost there. But this time it's not enough. All of the members of Munster are down. The supers will start to collapse in. The death timers are too long, and Nvision may just have clutched out the win.
That was so big brain actually from Munster, and it very nearly worked. Maybe if Diva had a blue pot, that could have actually been enough, but either way, Spark manages to defend, TPs are coming in, and Nvision able to close this one out.
It's secured. That's going to be tower number 1. That's going to be tower number 2. It was a roller coaster of emotions. But Nvision take down Munster and deny them first from the groups now.
Oh, the Channel coming in nearly had me. That was definitely a close one. I didn't think, it just didn't register with me until I suddenly saw the Shen. I was like, wait, maybe a blue pot could have been the difference, maybe with a bit more gold, less of a strength than the Ezreal. But either way, Nvision so far behind in the early game. We talked about the mid-game spike, but that was something. That was really something. They found some beautiful team fights. Alex with the amazing flanks. Evan just finding the backline consistently. And then BB Muffin and Spark just doing great amounts of damage in these team fights. And Nash obviously causing so much havoc with his CC. It feels like this team is now really a team.
Yeah,
they have
absolutely
gelled together so well. And I actually am really excited to see them in playoffs. With that win, they're not secured in playoffs. They are closer, though.
My heart was going absolutely crazy watching that. What a game. Actually, what a way to round out the first day of the last week. Munster, while they're in playoffs, they're not secured for first yet. Obviously, they can still make first. It's not like that's out of the window, but it's now a slightly harder road for them. With that win for Nvision, they're not even secured playoffs yet, but it's a good start for them. And tomorrow they're taking on Bulldog. Am I right? Yeah, they're taking on Bulldog. So they again have arguably an easier game again.
Yeah, but like after the game today, Bulldog have looked better, so not a pushover. And the thing is, that game, the only team who didn't pick up a win out of those, you know how we all do those teams tied together? The only one who didn't pick up a win was Enclave. And because London lost, we again have 4 teams tied at 8 points. Now, you're a little bit better off because it's gone from 4 teams tied from 3rd to 6th to now 4 teams tied from 2nd to 5th. So you've gained ground, but it's by no means are you like done. It's still so close, such a mess, which honestly, I am super happy about because it's been so exciting to watch all the games today.
I just this season, man. I'm gonna need the longest break to recover from how hype this has been. And what a way to start off the final week. I really hope tomorrow is as hype as it's been today because this has just been absolutely crazy. This has been so fun to watch. I'm speechless. As you can say, I'm speechless. By the way, just throwing it out there, everybody doubted me. I voted Nvision, and look, you won. Nvision. How are you feeling about that one, Rox?
I mean, I'm fine. Honestly, I was pretty close with it. And I thought carefully, and I thought that Munsters had the more consistency. And we've seen really good games from Nvision before, and then they've had really bad games. And I was like, do I think that last week is going to mean that they're ultimately just, we're done, we're a top team now? And it's like, I'll give them another one. I'm pretty sure I voted for them in their game tomorrow, because I thought that one might be closer. Yeah, I went for Nvision tomorrow. So I think against Bulldog it was more convincing. But, you were right. I think Nvision, this was the test for them. This was their opportunity to say, okay, was it a fluke? Can we beat the 4-win streak Munster, who are on top of the table? And the answer is yes. And I think that it's just shown that this team really is playing extremely well together. That the coordination's beautiful to see. I think there's highlight moments from every single player in that game. And I'm so hyped for playoffs now.
Yeah, I still do feel that there were some weaknesses, but I think every team who's played today...
No, Jake, no weaknesses. Flawless League of Legends.
But I think the fact that there are weaknesses is what's made this league so explosive and so much fun to watch, because not every team is playing perfectly. And it's really been about, catching yourself on those mistakes or punishing the enemy team on those mistakes. And that's what's made these games so back and forth, because there are, frankly, quite a lot of mistakes being made from every team. And it's just been spectacular to watch. Now, actually, we do have the man in the top lane, the Jax, Evan, standing by for an interview. Evan, what a win for you guys to get. You deny Munster from locking first in the groups. You keep your playoff dreams alive, and you just had the game of your life on Jax. What's the kind of raw emotions that are going through you right now?
I mean, just any positive emotion, anything. Happy, amazed, proud that I actually could, pull it off. But I think my heart rate's still going a bit as well, because that ending, I thought we'd lost. I thought they'd pull out a back door. My heart is still pumping. So I guess, I don't know what to say.
That was so hype. I just want to say, so At what point? Because initially when you picked up the Jacks, I was like, it makes sense. I want to have that sort of side lane win condition. At what point did you expect just to be able to decimate them in team fights like in that manner? Like, what was the sort of calls going on that you just opted into all these team fights and then won spectacularly?
Well, I think we kind of had to opt into those team fights because if we didn't, like, sure, I win the side lane versus Shen,
Yeah.
but he can happily sit on the turret, you know, lose a few CS, maybe I'll get a little bit of chip, and then if we just do that and we commit to the side lane, then my team's going to lose the fights, right? Because Kalista is huge, Azir is massive. So we just thought we have to go for a team fight. Maybe we don't win them, but it's better than bleeding out passively and just losing, right? And it turned out I managed to get a pretty nice TP flank in one of the key fights, and I hopped over behind everyone and stunned them. So yeah, we just knew we had to go for it. We had one shot, and it worked out. We pulled the trigger.
Yeah, unfortunately, when you say you got a good flank, I'm not sure which time because you got plenty of good flanks.
I mean, apart from the first flank where I TP'd and died.
Oh yeah.
Other than that, they're all pretty good. Yeah.
Yeah, it wasn't like the one time, but it was every fight you were really consistent. Now with the Jax pick, was that something that you had like kind of prepped specifically for certain matchups? Was it something you're intending, or I know obviously I'm not gonna say you didn't. Obviously, it's somewhat prepared because you're not just gonna pull it out as a blind pick without practicing it. But how was that like an initial plan, or was it something you had prepared specifically for certain matchups?
Well, you don't really prepare. Basically, I'd never really pick Jax on blue side unless the other team's done something weird with the draft. But if we have red side counter pick for top lane, I kind of have I can just, you know, mold the composition as to what I think is best. And Jax is my most played champion, I think, for the last couple of seasons. Like, he's my favorite in solo queue because you can just take the game into your own hands. And then when I see a Shen, who's a really strong laner, I think Jax is like, he can match him in lane, which is rare for Jax, and then he can also just take over the side lane once I pick up a balk. But yeah, it's mainly just comfort. Jax is my second most played throughout League of Legends history, so I love picking him up when I can.
Who's the first most?
Darius. I'm a big chooser.
Oh god.
Darius, Jax players.
Jax and Darius, mate. Oh dear.
It's like Cave all over again.
When are we gonna see the Darius?
Yeah, well, maybe they'll whip that out in playoffs. We'll see.
So I want to ask, speaking of playoffs, you guys have had a massive resurgence. Munster won a 4-win streak before you bopped them. How are you feeling going into playoffs? What do you think? What teams you're looking at as threats? Or, you know, give me some trash talk if you want as well. Just tell me you're going to stomp them all.
Oh, I'm not going to trash talk, man. I'm not about that. I think, you know, that game was by no means like a stomp by us. Like, it looked like Munster had it in the bag, and they almost pulled it back. So I think, though they have been the most challenging to play against so far for sure. So I guess, yeah, Munster. Because we only played them once, right? And who knows what's going to happen in best of threes, all that jazz. Yeah, they're looking good. And London as well, because they kind of spanked us last game. So I guess we'd like to get revenge on them too.
Yeah, well, I mean, congratulations on the win, Evan. Good luck for future games, and good luck for actually making it to playoffs. It's still, you know, a little bit up in the air on that one.
Yeah.
But that was such a big win, and that was a solid step forward towards the playoffs. So congratulations on that. And
thanks very much.
Hopefully we get to speak to you again, mate, because you're always really good to talk to.
I hope so too.
Awesome. See you later, mate.
Cheers.
Oh my lord, what a game! I am honestly, my heart is actually still going. I'm really sweating after that game.
Imagine being in the fight and me being in the game. Sorry.
Holding your composure for that is a skill in its own right, not just kind of keeping the mechanical.
You know who I feel bad for? Blue Spirits.
I mean, he got Jax bullied all game.
He's gonna have nightmares about a Jax running him down.
He's gonna wake up in cold sweats tonight, like Angular Jax flying at him. Now let's have a little look at the standings and see what today has done as far as everything goes. Munster Rugby 9-4, still at the top, but they did lose their game today, and there are 4 teams, all 1 win away from catching up to them. Nvision, Demise, London, and M&M 8-5 in the standings. There's only 4 teams that can make it through to playoffs, so one of those teams could potentially be getting knocked out. And Enclave as well, still in the running. Depending on what happens tomorrow and depending on their game, it is out of their hands massively right now, but they could still potentially make playoffs. And then unfortunately for Barrage and London, they are out.
So the way I want to imagine this is, you know, like in cartoons when like there's a fight and you just see the dust cloud and there's like tons of like limbs looking out. To me, that's the 4-way tie. And Enclave got kicked out and London got dragged in. And there's just this massive scrap going on between them all. And, you know, who knows what's going to happen tomorrow. But it's so close. And actually, a bunch of teams in that big scrap have a 1-1 head-to-head ratio. Head-to-head matchup, sorry. And, yeah, it's gonna get a little bit crazy might well having tiebreakers. We might well having all sorts of things. We'll have to consult the rule book. We'll have to, consult a prophet. Just various different things to work this one out. By the way, it's been hella chaotic and just a lot of fun.
I really hope tomorrow is going to be hella chaotic. Let's have a little look at the matchup as well to see. Sorry, the games for tomorrow to see what is going on there. We have Demise versus Munster to start us out. That is going to be very, very spicy. After today, I do not actually know where to call that. Then after that, we have Nvision versus Bulldog. I think Bulldog had a really fantastic game. So did Nvision. So another incredible game. And if Bulldog can pull a win out, that's a big upset for Nvision. Then we'll have London versus Enclave. Rounding the day out with M&M versus Barrage. Normally I ask you what game you're excited for, but I feel like the answer's all four. Yeah,
I think first and third definitely more so than the others, because I think when Barrage and Bulldog played against each other, that was really hype because, it's like head to head, the two teams going to relegations, Bulldog trying to get the first win. But I think the standings is less important when it's like Nvision against Bulldog or M&M against Barrage. But Munster against Demise is huge because they are now not quite tied, but Demise has a chance to catch them up, which is going to be massive and equalize that head to head as well. So can put a spanner in their works. And then I feel also the Enclave against London. Enclave's last chance, if they want to remain relevant, is to win that game. And then they can potentially tie up with London. If they lose, though, if Enclave lose that game, they are flat out of playoffs. That is it. It is over.
It has been an incredible day. And I genuinely think tomorrow is going to deliver. This season has been mind-blowingly good, and you got to make sure you tune in tomorrow for the last 4 games of the regular split. We'll be on at 6 o'clock, same time, same place. Make sure you join us for that one. We'll see you for the final day of the regular season.